trying to place students on, some of the faculty and staff reach out to me and say, hey, can I apply for this? I'm like, sure, go ahead. But one thing I wanted to kind of go over, I have about 10 minutes, is, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we have a resource for students and alumni. And thinking about it, I said, I think we should make this available for faculty and staff. So it is free to all faculty and staff to take this assessment, and it is called U Science. Is anybody familiar with U Science? Okay, good. Okay, so you guys are going to learn something today. I was worried that everyone's going to say, yes, I've already done it, I've already taken it, but let me go ahead and share my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what it looks like after someone takes an assessment. And this is really in the exploring yourself, your career, your insights, your aptitudes, things that you're interested in. And then it also is a very robust system that is attached to the Labor Bureau of Statistics and gives some really good research and data on the job market that's current. So let me go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you what the results look like. Okay, can everyone see this Welcome Lacey page?
Yes.
Okay, so on here, this is what it looks like after you would take the assessment. And there's several breakdowns. Now there's some things on here that you won't see because I'm an admin for it. So you won't see this admin dashboard, but you will see this welcome back, and it has this interpersonal style, talents, and work approach. This is really important because when we are looking at areas to be successful, we need to look at areas that we are good at doing, right? And we also need to look at areas that we are interested in doing. And finding that middle ground between I'm good at it and I like it is usually where we excel in our work environment. So that's the idea here. So if you were to click on this, again, this is after you take the assessment. You won't see this before it because it doesn't know you yet, but you take the assessment. And then does it show you this next page?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so it'll say, Lacey, you crushed it. Everyone crushes this test because it's not.
Because you don't have to study.
Yeah, I mean, don't study. Do not use a calculator on it. But it shows you your personal approach to things. It shows you how you contribute to a team and the things that you're really good at. I am a blended energizer, but it might tell you that you are really good at the independent research and often become noteworthy experts and innovators. And or you might be someone who's an extrovert and you might be extroverted, enjoy gathering and sharing perspectives. So whatever your interests are, it's important for you to know it so that then you can try to select the careers and research the careers that is of interest for you. So there's this long report. This thing is 31 pages long of all of these really cool things that is easy for you to do or difficult for you to do. And it's important for us to know that, because if you don't know that about yourself already, then you get into a job that you end up hating. And that's what you don't want to do. So this beginning process is kind of exploring who you are, and who you are changes over time. So right now, today might be different than in 5 years. I might accomplish more things and I might not, want to do certain things, and that's okay. So I always tell students or, alumni, take this every couple of years and just learn more about who you are. Okay, so that is the kind of who I am. Let me go back, and you would learn a lot of that about yourself. And then it has this best fit careers. This is my favorite part. This is the part that's going to really, you guys are going to like. So when you click on this, it's not just going to have a list, right? There's been assessments in the past that just go librarian and all of this just listed, and you don't know anything about some of them. But it's, again, really, really robust, and it pops up, funny, HR and education and rehabilitation counselor. Now, the green are the areas that are good for me. Training and development. I mean, this is kind of what I somewhat do in a different way. It doesn't necessarily say career development director or anything like that, but it all relates, and you can learn about these types of jobs. When you click into a job, let's go ahead and click into the, well, let's do, well, I'm interested in probation officer, correctional. Let me just let's just explore. So it will also, it's again, it's tied to the Labor Bureau statistics for the national data. So you will get projected openings that are to come. So not only is this something that I would be good at, it's saying I would be good at, I'm also somewhat of it's an interest. Then I can go in and say, well, how much does this make? Well, I don't know if I want to do that. You may not know what the position is. So it says a day in a life in, it has core tasks that you would be doing. And what's really cool here is it shows how it's a benefit or a fit for you. So your aptitudes are here in yellow, and then the aptitudes of the career. So this is the knowledge part. So so for visual comparison, it doesn't necessarily need a whole lot, which thank goodness, because I don't have a whole lot of it. But in certain areas, you want these dots to line up as best as possible so that my knowledge base will perform well in this particular job. And then it aligns with the interests. So the social aspect is really, really high, and I would enjoy doing that. Now, there's other jobs that it may not be that high, and I wouldn't necessarily enjoy doing that. So that's where this is really cool, because the algorithm kind of shows you certain things that fits. It also goes into related careers. So if that particular career, you're like, I don't really like that, then you can look at some other ones that are similar. And then how to get there. This part right here is interesting because it'll show you different, like 86% needs a bachelor's degree, 7% is a high school diploma, 6% is a master's degree. So if you already have a bachelor's degree, then you know that you won't need to do more training, but there might be some licensing that you might need to get or some certifications, and it will list that here so that you can start working and developing your portfolio to apply for those jobs. And then it even goes into the best majors that you are interested in. And then it goes into the expected job openings. So if we're in the state of Texas, this would be a high demand for that job. And in California, Florida, those types of areas. So you can kind of get an idea. This part right here is the national salary guide and projected job openings. And I think that's also what's really cool about this, is that this doesn't give you a job that either isn't of existence or isn't relevant to the current market. And this one is relevant and has some more job openings. It has 95,000 openings projected for 2024. So that also has some projections for you. So really cool data. Students really love it. Alumni love it. Now, they don't like taking the test. The test is not necessarily fun to take. It is about 90 minutes long, but you can enter it, take it, stop, come back to it, and it saves your spot. So that's what I tell people. Just take it until you get fed up with it and then leave it and then come back to it. So I took it in like 3 different intervals, 30 minutes a piece. Let's see what else. It's tied to ONET. I wanted to show y'all. So some of our students will say things like, well, my mom's an engineer and I think that's what I'm supposed to do. She wants me to be an engineer, right? So I take the test and then I search engineers and I go, oh, it may not be a good fit for me. And I wonder why. And so you might click into it, an engineering professor for me, and the certain tasks. And I always like to kind of go to the alignment. I may not do well in the vocabulary section, or I may not do well in the numerical reasoning section. And so when you're in a job that you're not doing well, or I can't even get through the classes to do it, then that's something that you need to know prior to, right, signing up for the classes and paying for it. Same thing with the interests. The realistic part of interest, it requires a lot more of me than I would be necessarily good at. So that's a little bit of the assessment in a nutshell. Do you guys have any questions as I'm going through?
you say how to access it?
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested in doing it, if you shoot me an email, let me put my email in the chat. It's just Lacey, LACEY.Henderson@tamuc.edu. All I need is your first name, your last name, and your email address. And whenever you send that to me, I send you an invite from UScience, and it gives you this little access code so that you can take it for free. Because I have an unlimited amount. I've purchased it for all students and alumni. And to do that, I had to do kind of an unlimited amount. So it's already purchased and paid for everyone to take it if they would like. And all I need is a name, a first name, last name, and email address, and it'll send you a code. And then you can take it on your own, you know, at your leisure and have the results and all of that.
Is it U, the letter U, or U as in YOU?
YOU. So it is uscience.com.
Okay, that's what I wrote there.
We're so truncated.
How often do you recommend retaking the test?
I recommend every 2 years. But it also kind of depends on just you. When you are at a job and you start to just kind of notice, I'm not either as productive or I'm just not as happy in this job, I would take it. It could be 6 months and you have kind of propelled into a new area of life. And then I would take it again but on average, I see people kind of questioning their careers every 2 years right now, 2 to 4 years, depending on how challenging the career is and how entry level you are.
Still have big interview access?
Yes, we still do use Big Interview as well. And that's a great resource too when you are creating a resume, practicing interviewing. When you're applying for jobs, if you need any help with packaging yourself or practicing, we have some really, really cool templates that it will pre-record your interviews, and you can listen to your interviews back and then try to figure out, you know, what you can tweak. And we can help you with that too.
Like some examples on how to answer things. Of course, like using yourself, but they're like, this was a good response, this was a bad one, and I've used it.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
What's the name? Please tone down the redness in this room. I'm kidding.
Where can folks find those resources?
For UScience or Big Interview?
Big Interview and some of the other, like the videos and all those kind of things y'all have.
Yes. So with Big Interview, it is another one of those, I send you an invite to access. So if you guys want to just email me and say, hey, I'm interested in practicing interviewing and taking an assessment, or you know, need some help with my resume, there's some resume templates on there as well. We also have a resource called The Vault, and it has a lot of great resume templates. So whatever it is that you're kind of looking at doing, just let me know by email, and then I can get you access to those portals. And then you just, you know, you sign up, you use like a username and password, and then that's it.
Anybody have any other questions for Lacey? Okay, if people want to come visit your office, where are you located?
We are in the library on the 2nd floor, in that suite. It is 225.
Huh. Who knew? I didn't know that.
We just moved. We actually moved a week before the pandemic hit, so we got all of our stuff over here and then went home until we came back. So we were over in the one-stop shop, but we're really glad to be over in the library now. We're more accessible for students as well.
While y'all are off visiting, Lacey also stopped by and see us in the College of Innovation and Design suite on the first floor, because also there's, we're new over there as well.
Yeah.
People.
You guys picked us out, so, you know.
Well, thank you so much, Lacey. This was a lot of fabulous information.
Thank you.
Going to turn it over to Janice to talk about LinkedIn Learning.
Got like some stuff in the chat.
That's Lacey's.
Those were Lacey's.
It's Lacey's.
Oh, okay. Oh,
You science. That Lacey. All right, I am gonna share my screen as well. And just in time, you said birthday. Okay, so I've gone ahead and logged into LinkedIn Learning. Can you guys see the LinkedIn Learning screen? Those of you who are online, can you give me a thumbs up, please? Anybody? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, very good. So the fact that Lacey was talking about all of these ways that you could go in and see what type of person you are and what skills you need and what types of things you might have. Some of those little bars were lower for her and some of them were higher, and then she had some that didn't even have any color, but it was for a job that she really might have wanted. Guess what I have? LinkedIn Learning is going to help you with some of those skills that you either want to brush up on, get better at, or learn completely new. And so my little 10 minutes is going to be talking to you guys about some ways that you can, in your career, learn things to make you more marketable. And so I've got the LinkedIn Learning screen here. I'm not in admin mode, so this is typically what it's going to look like when you log in. I'm at the home screen right now, and so it will tell me, you know, I've been doing all kinds of research to do a couple of presentations. So there's some really weird things that it's recommending, but that's okay too. But really, you need to know nothing about LinkedIn Learning to be able to get started. Let's say, you know, I am looking for something. In this instance, we maybe are looking for, you know, career development. So I could just type that in up here in this, you know, search engine, and I could click there. And I could get all these different types of trainings. You can see over on the left-hand side that it's got 345 sessions. There are some courses that include video and audio. That's why those numbers are a little different. And there's a ton more videos than there are anything else because they make up all of those courses. And then there are learning paths. A learning path is basically, LinkedIn Learning has said, this is the path I think you should take if you're starting with this concept. Okay, so if I were to look at all of these learning paths, it would show how to be a thought leader, how to be a productive journalist, or become a successful work. So if I go into that, here are several courses that are part of that learning path. The beautiful part about the learning path is that it is a step-by-step process that gets you to the end. So you start at the beginning. It says, after you're done with this, take this, and then take this, and then take that, and so on. Okay, so I love, love, love learning paths, but maybe everybody doesn't like to be that regimented. And so in addition to learning paths, you can just search like we did for career development again, and not choose a career path, just choose a training. Okay, so I'm going to turn off learning paths. All of this here is all of your filters. I can see here that in addition to the type of LinkedIn Learning session you might have, there are some levels, beginning, intermediate, advanced. There's only one advanced course, but there's a bunch of beginner, intermediate, and so on. If I only have a little bit of time, show me something that's only 10 minutes. Then I could say, give me a 10-minute little spiel there. I could say, what type of software should I look at? These are all of the different types of software that have to do with career development. If I'm not interested in cascading sheets, then I'm not going to look at CSS. If I'm not interested in HTML, if I'm not interested in Snapchat, I'm just not check any of those. I could say, well, let me look at all of the Facebook items, and I put that check mark in there. And here are the 3 that have to do with Facebook. Okay, so I can filter this down because it's a little daunting sometimes to type something up here and get back 2,000 results. So one of the first things that I always do is look over on the left to see how I could filter that down to something more manageable for myself. So in addition, I can also see, is there anything that I might learn in this path that would give me continuing education units? That's a big deal. I don't know if everybody has to do those, but I do. When I became part of HR, I had to have continuing education. So it's important for me to find sessions where I can learn things. These are all of the different agencies out there. The NASBA is accounting, PMI is project management, Sherman HRCI are both HR. The IIBA is business analyst certification. I didn't even know that was a thing, because that's my degree right now. Anyway, CompTIA would be technical types of things. You see there's 0 of those, right? So nothing for HR. So I may not be interested in looking at any of these if I'm looking for something continuing education for my HR and so on. But if I was getting my project management certification, there's 31 classes in here that would go towards that certification. Okay, so I always look at those because it's interesting to me to see which agencies are checking out those. In addition to just coming up here and typing things, I can also browse by category. So I just clicked on the browse to the left of where that search was. You see you have all these big topics. And so I mentioned that I'm getting a degree in business analysis, and so I might look at some of the other things that are there. I might show all of those. And here are all of the different types of things that I could look at in to further my career with business analysis. And so I would definitely want to be certified by these guys. And so I could come over and look and see, you know, what kinds of things I could learn. And one of the other things that I really, really, really love about LinkedIn Learning is, let's say that I want to learn a little bit about Tableau, because, you know, who doesn't? So I'm just going to go to this very first one, this essentials training, just to give you guys an idea. Tableau is like a dashboard type program, and you can see that.
Join me at LinkedIn Learning for an introduction.
This is what it looks like when you go into a training. It starts off almost immediately. But the thing that I think you guys are going to enjoy the most is if you look over here at the contents, you can see that it's broken down into very manageable time for you. Because the first, you know, what people tell me all the time is, Jazz, I don't have time for professional development. I don't have time to do this. Okay, so these sessions are broken down. You can see here's a 2-minute session, here's a 2-minute session, here's a 2-minute session, 1 minute, 4 minutes. Okay, this whole thing right here will take you about 20 minutes. So you do a chapter in 20 minutes. So I'm not trying to eat the whole elephant. I'm trying to do little bite-sized training to become professionally, to get professional development or personal development. So of course, there's a lot of professional development in LinkedIn Learning. There's also some personal things. Tableau is not something that I may or may not use it for the job that I am in right now, but it's something I personally want to know about. So, you know, I'm going to go look at it and see how hard is it, and, you know, those types of things, right? And I'm going to let it break it down for me, very manageable pieces. The other things you can see here, there are some exercise files that come with it. So I don't have to try to recreate the wheel. There are files that that LinkedIn Learning will give me. I'll download them so that I can, you know, destroy those instead of destroying my own data. There are learning groups that you can chat with, so that if you're struggling through something, you can become part of those groups and you know, say, hey, I have no idea what this guy just said. Can you explain? Here's all the certificates you might get if you, so here's an NASBA certificate. that if you pass the test for this Tableau class, you get that certificate, which is big for those accountants out there, right? And so, and of course, you get LinkedIn Learning certificate. Woohoo! Those are the ones that post up on your LinkedIn profile, and I do recommend that you, that you link in with LinkedIn Learning and your LinkedIn profile. I always want to say LinkedIn Learning, but stop at LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile, when you're done, it's going to say, do you want to add this to your LinkedIn profile? And I always do. Some people have said, oh, so big brother, you carry a phone. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, so definitely that makes your LinkedIn profile much more visible. Students, if we didn't get the student package for them, but when we put things up on our profile, it makes our profiles more visible. The more certificates we have, they have these things called micro certs, and it groups together and it makes it easier for someone out there looking for people with these types of skills. Okay, so I like that. Most of these do have exams for you to take, and they're fairly easy. I've taken a few of these exams, and then they always tell you, what should I do next, right? What should I do after this? What class? Because this was an essentials class. What should I do now that I've got the basics down? And I will tell you, this essentials is hard. But I can go back and look at it again, over and over and over again. I missed this. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to learn that today. I can just replay all of those, and so on. And so I really love that about this. I can also create, in my learning, I've created some collections. So I created a collection for this where I put a bunch of career advancement items. So these are the ones that I just felt like this might be something that you guys would be interested in. And then I could just share this whole collection with you. The difference between a collection and a learning path is there's no method to the madness with a collection. Just take it whenever you want. Whereas the learning path is kind of do A first, then B, then C. That's the only difference. You create these on your own. I'm also going to create some learning paths. LinkedIn Learning has created learning paths, but I'm going to create some for different departments. And if you'd like for me to help you do that so that I can share it with your departments, that's one of the things that I really strongly want to do for the university is create those for your department so that you can have an idea of, what everyone in your office, you should know the basics of Excel and Outlook, right? Those kinds of things. What should you know? Okay. Speaking of Excel, my favorite subject, I know you guys know that. 9,409 courses, okay? I couldn't do that on so this was the reason we got LinkedIn Learning, is because if you don't like this training, go try the other one. If you don't like this, go try another one, right? And so there's all these videos, all these courses, 33 learning paths in Excel. Okay. What other types of things? So I will be, we can put in our own content here. I'm probably going to still do things through TrainTrack, and we are working to connect TrainTrack to LinkedIn Learning. It is not right now. They were like, that's a pipe dream, Jazz, just calm down. And I was like, because that was one of the selling points, but so we're not going to be able to do it, but we're working there. It's on the radar. System's going to get it done first. They have way more money than me. And then we're going to try to do it. And then you'll only have those one transcripts and so on. But you get certificates if you needed to prove to someone that you took the course in LinkedIn Learning. Obviously, you just get that certificate and send it to someone. So that is. There is a. I think there's a whole thing on what's trending in higher ed. And so, yeah, there's 3,000 results. So grant writing, teams for education, PowerPoint 365 for educators. And so this is right up our alley, right? So if we want to learn more about how to work at a university, because I was so green when I started here. You know, being in the corporate world and coming to university, it was a huge culture shock for me. I just didn't know what the, you know, everything about being part of a university. This would have been very helpful for me. So, if anybody would like for me to share this collection with you on career advancement, I can absolutely do that. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, any questions about LinkedIn Learning before I move away just for a second? Yes, go.
Go ahead. I was just like, how do we get it?
Oh, so here's the thing. We had some early adopters. We sent it out for a couple of weeks. And towards the end, it kind of got so I apologize for those of you who tried to log in and were unable to get logged in. IT was trying to do some things and they messed up my pilot program, which not their fault. They were just trying to get us, you know, whatever. So we stopped, last week we stopped allowing new people to do the pilot early adopter portion of it. And this week, starting yesterday, or no, Monday, our IT department has been getting it to where we log in using SSO because we want to authenticate everyone that works here. So, because we only did it for faculty and staff, as much as I really tried hard to get it for students as well. I didn't get the funding. So we got it for all faculty and staff. That does include GAs and student workers. If it is an employee, they are part of faculty and staff. I don't know how to make that more clear to people because people will always ask me, what about my student workers? Are they an employee? Yes. Then this includes them. Okay, and so the reason that we wanted to do the authentication is because of turnover. I wanted to make sure that those people who don't have a UIN won't be able to continue to log in once they get terminated and so on. So this week is all about testing it. I actually got a link from Jeff Fonts this morning. I tested it. I was able to log in. It brought me straight to LinkedIn Learning. I was super excited. The plan is to make it a button when you log into SSO. Make it a button, just like Workday, just like Canopy, just like all those others. I don't know if that's possible. It seems like it should be, but and then you'll just log in there, and that's where your LinkedIn Learning, and hopefully it'll trigger you to do a little bit for yourself because you got to take time for yourself, okay? And I know that I don't have time in my day. 30 minutes. Give yourself 30 minutes. Now, if you can't do it every day, do it every Friday, or do it schedule yourself some time, put it on your calendar to do something for you. I can promise you that anything you learn in LinkedIn Learning is going to make you a more productive employee. And if your bosses don't like you being more productive, have them see me, because I think we should all want to improve. We should all want to, you know, no matter what we're learning, it will make us more productive. Okay, so the answer to your question, since I didn't answer it, is still testing this week. I think by next week, Monday. I didn't get it, yeah, but soon. So I was really hoping for the beginning of July. Here it is, the end of July. And yeah, that's okay. No, and it wasn't our IT's fault. It's okay. We are, I'm thinking next week, and then, you know, there's a lot going on next week, so it may be the next week before I actually get to. And once everybody's going to be able to log in, I'm going to do some more of these little info sessions. And they're going to be pretty much like this, but we'd be able to play a little more. We'll do it in 122 so that you guys can actually sit at a computer and play and look and search and you know, and just kind of do that. And we can make collections, we can make learning paths, and we can do all of that. Yes, Angela.
I was one of your early adopters. I noticed that not all of the trainings are covered, but I'm wondering if there's a list.
We should have all trainings. Can you let me know which trainings yes, because we should not be limited in any way. And it could be that it's just because of the pilot. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, we're in pilot mode, but we should not be limited. Okay. Unlimited.
So when you log into SSO and there's a button that's going to be LinkedIn Learn, it's going to be attached to our LinkedIn profile.
Or is that something you need to go in and do initial setup?
So that very first time, that's something I'm going to have to try to figure out, because it's going to probably ask you to log in again that first time using your LinkedIn. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because when I did it, I used my email to log in. I used my LinkedIn Learning, my LinkedIn profile login to log in. But this one time, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Sorry, I don't know the answer.
Because I was one of your originals when we started talking about this like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 3, maybe 3.
Oh,
I have been working on this for 3 years. This is the culmination today. Yeah, so I know that there is a way for you to not attach it to your profile, and you can do it after the fact. So right now, if I wanted to, I could say I no longer want it to be attached to my profile, and I can do that. I still have to learn how to do that because, you know, I only hold so much. And so I was like, I'll get to that in, you know, a little bit later. It should allow you just to, it may ask you that very first time you log in using your Active Directory login or your SSO login. It should ask you, but I'll try to figure that out. Obviously, I can't do it. I'll have to get someone in my office to test that for me. Anyone that was not an early adopter to let me see how that method works. And then what I'll do is I will put instructions in the listserv before. So y'all check for the HR listserv. I'll say, it's finally here, something big, an exclamation point, I'll put it in red to catch your attention. And then I'll say, here's what'll happen, here's what it'll look like. I'll do little screenshots to make it easy. Because I know it's frustrating and so on. I just can't do it because I've been in it for 3 years, like you said.
Yeah, that was just my concern.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still get stuff in LinkedIn from the 3 years ago pilot we were doing.
Yeah, I stopped getting those. I started again, obviously, recently, but of course I might have made a rule, but just put it somewhere else. So the other thing, the other places that I wanted to let you know that, you know, if you're thinking about career advancement here at the university or just, you know, in general, but specifically for the university, there is a way to make yourself more visible in Workday. So when we first got Workday, one of the first things that I did was I uploaded my my resume. So I'm just going to use mine. So you guys, so I'm going to go to my profile. So go to my little silly face. And I go to my profile, and you can see here, if my resume was not there, it would have said, would you like to upload your resume? So when you get to that very first summary screen, there should be upload, just, you know, Word. I think it might need to be a PDF. And then you upload it. And then as I, you know, once I got from my promotion, I updated that and so on. But the other place, if you come over to where you see career, here's where you can add things like, you know, where your education is. Some of that should come from your resume. If it doesn't, then you can add it yourself. Any certifications that you may have gotten, because it might make a difference to someone looking for someone. Does she have a, you know, is she, you know, SHRM? Is she HRCI? Is she a Microsoft certified trainer or whatever? Those things. What languages I know. I have achieved nothing. My professional affiliations are, I just really haven't gotten a chance to do all of those, but I did want to make sure that, you know, at least these first 4 that I went through, and I made myself everything about me that anyone looking for someone that needs to know just a little bit of Cajun French, then they could look under my languages and they could see that I know just a little bit. And so, right. So this is another way that you can be more visible on campus is through Workday. I know that's sometimes a bad word, but but Workday does actually have some tools to help you. It is mostly an HR program, so it makes sense that it would have a place for us to kind of tout ourselves and so on. The other thing that I do is there are so many resources out there, you guys, to learn how to do things. The things that Lacey was talking about, obviously there's resources here, but I just went, I literally spent 5 minutes going to LinkedIn resources, going to Indeed resources, going to Zip Recruiting resources, going to Mind Tools, going to Monster, going to all of these places for tools to make my resume, my how do I handle these kinds of situations? How do I do those things? I went and spent just a few minutes and put them in my my bookmarks. So you can see Recruitment Resource Center at ZipRecruiter. I don't know why I put it in twice. Monster has some career tests. All of these are free tools and ideas from Mind Tools. Love that site. Indeed. Of course, LinkedIn Learning has a resource library. So you go to your profile page for that and look under resources to find those. There's just a lot out there. Indeed, of course, has a whole bunch. So between LinkedIn Learning, between these resources, and then of course your Workday profile, all of those things that you do for yourself to make you more visible, to make you a better employee, there's still some things I think you can do. You can become a mentor. You can become someone that volunteers. So get out there is what I'm basically saying. Show up for events, those types of things, because there's some employers out there that go to these events. They work here, and so showing up and having intelligent conversation with some of these people can sometimes be your foot in the door to a different career. So I didn't quite make 10 minutes, did I? Oh God. Any questions? Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. There is something in the chat.
Oh, let's do the chat. Is special access needed for LinkedIn Learning? Tracy, you want to put your mic on and ask and clarify for me? I'm not really sure what you mean.
It might have been asked before you went into the explanation of it.
Did I answer your question, Tracy?
Yes.
Awesome. See that? All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. Just orange drive.
Thank you so much to Jess, Lacey, so far. Next, we have a really good presentation from HR about a couple of things at the A&M system. Unfortunately, our compensation person is out today, so she's not going to be able to do her part of the presentation, but she did send me a couple of resources on the screen here in a second. So Christine
Yes.
/ Jayla.
Yeah, Christine, if you're on and ready, since I'm really going to be talking more about student hiring, I think you will segue into this easier than I will. If you'd like to show everybody how to get to our internal and external web pages where you can find our job postings. Paging Christine.
Hi. I guess I can share my screen. I thought since the main topic was compensation that we really wouldn't have much to share with you, unfortunately. So is what you're wanting to know, is it just how to get to our job postings?
I think that would be helpful as far as people that are looking for a different career path, or maybe just to see what all is out there, just kind of showing them how to navigate to it and maybe how to filter down. For my piece, I'm really just going to be talking about student hiring. I'm just going to do a really quick overview and give you guys some links to go through. But I think that would probably be helpful for people who are looking for maybe a different career path.
And I also have an additional question for able to, because I know all like pay, salaries and stuff are supposed to be public knowledge. I don't know, where do we see that now? Like, I used to be able to pull it up on the Texas Tribune website. That way if
It's
you-
gotten so big, Texas Tribune now just does the flagships.
Oh.
Their database, we actually call them, like, we used to look at that.
Yeah, because I like to look at things, I'm like, so before I got my position, I'm like, so what does the pay look like? Because it doesn't always post it, right? It doesn't, like, our position is very,
Yeah, we don't know like what zone, I mean, well,
Yeah.
you see zone for a particular job, but now in Workday, you don't see zone.
Yes, a little bit.
It
So, so one of the things was, is kind of in relation to equity adjustments. Like, let's say you do find out, wow, I'm not really being compensated like I feel like I should be. One of the things that you can do is you can request let me see how she says it. Basically, you can make a request to HR, and they will do an in-depth review of people at your similar title at similar institutions. Depending on the position, sometimes just from doing these kind of things for people before, I know it's, sometimes it's at other institutions, sometimes they include the corporate world, just depending on, what it is that you're doing. But that is definitely something that we can do in-house as well. But yeah, unfortunately, the really easy way to do it yourself is not available anymore. So
I wondered that. I didn't realize
I
that's
just,
no
whenever
longer
I
available.
looked at applying before I got my position.
And we do have an email from Carmen Frazier, our compensation person, where she does include several links and where information is located. That might be something that we can send out to all of you guys that attended afterwards. Or of course, she also gave like the general email address that you can reach out to and get everything. But she did give some really good information in email form yesterday.
we'll kind of go over that after y'all have finished your piece. I'll
Okay,
go through her email.
go for it, Christine.
So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so to apply for a new position, if you are an internal employee, then you would just go through your Workday portal. I'm assuming, are you wanting me to show like if you're an internal employee, not necessarily an external?
Yes.
Okay, so let me get Workday pulled up then. So you would go to your profile and just click on home. And then you go to careers. And you would just do find jobs internal career site. And this takes you directly to our career site. So you can type in keywords to search for if you're looking for a specific job. Or if you have the actual requisition number, if you heard about an opening and you have the requisition number, you can type in the requisition number in the search. And then you basically just go through and click as if you were applying externally. It's just going to most likely already have your information. And that's pretty much it. It's super simple.
And I wonder if like Jazz was talking about how if we update our Workday profile to include our resume and that type of thing, will it automatically feed into that?
Yes, it does.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. I work so heavily on the student side that I don't see much of this side.
So our work
And
will convert into the state employment application?
I'm sorry, what?
She was asking if you hit apply in Workday, if that's what will generate the state application form. Or would it be a thing we still have to go in? Because I always thought that was crazy. I could give me your resume and then repeat all that information in state application.
I'm not sure. I know it's going to be the same application process as if you were applying for the first time, but sometimes it has your information stored already, like your resume and certain attachments.
Okay,
And I also think it depends on how you've attached it. I know when I very first applied, I did upload the resume and it pulled some, but not all of the information, almost just because of how I had it formatted. Now that was 2 years ago. Workday has already gone through an update. I'm sure something is different now. But at one point, it would automatically feed off of the resume, or if you already had some of this information in
Yeah.
Workday.
When I applied for this job, like back in like October of last year, it already had my information, but I attached my resume anyway and references just to be on the safe side. But it does show your education and your experience and everything like that.
It
It's in the Workday system.
Yep.
Hi, this is Patty. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I do know, and I only discovered it by accident because when I was in admissions, I used to look at a lot of resumes. And I had an internal, an employee apply. What I noticed is like all the screens that Jazz went through on our personal profile, if you're an employee and you don't fill that in, some of that information is blank on the application. And so what happened with this particular employee, it looked like she wasn't qualified. And so we ended up calling, HR and just trying to figure out what happened and why wasn't it pulling? And it was, if you don't fill out that information, some of that information is blank, like your skills and that sort of thing will be blank on the application when it's printed. So
Yeah,
fix that is still that, and I don't know employees know that if they know that.
so yeah, I would just say that you would definitely still want to make sure and go through the application and make sure that you're filling everything out. And if there's anything blank, to just make sure and you don't leave any blank spaces. I know some people will go through and apply and they assume since they're already an employee that they don't need to really look through anything. They just need to apply and just keep clicking next. But yeah, you would want to still look through each section and make sure nothing's blank.
Well, in that instance, it doesn't even give you those sections to fill out when you're doing the app. That was the other thing. So you may want to test that with some people to see if that's still the case. But
Okay, yeah.
It used to be like, it wouldn't give you the skills section if you hadn't filled in your skills on that profile, on your profile. It pulls certain fields from that, on the app, like, US citizen and that sort of stuff. But when you got started getting into the meat of your experience, it did not pull if you hadn't done your profile.
That's interesting. Yeah, we'll definitely have to look through that and maybe do some test runs and see if we can see what you're talking about.
And we, of course, also have on the left-hand side all of the filters. You can filter by location, by city, by the certain, I think it even lets you by degree. So that is, part-time, full-time, and the type of job family. So that is, of course, going to really help you narrow it down. Because I think when we very first hit this page, it said over 900 results. So kind of like the LinkedIn Learning, sometimes you want to pare down if you're looking for something more specific, especially if you used some tips that Lacey left and you already kind of know, well, I'm really good in this area. Let's try to look for something in this field. That filter is also really going to help you guys pare down so that you're not looking at such a wide variety of jobs that are out there.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really have anything else. Jayla, if you wanted to add anything else.
I think that's really it. I know we're just giving you guys how to navigate to something you might already know exists, but let's get as much information out there as possible on that piece. I know you guys are wanting to know a lot more on the compensation piece. We wanted to at least offer you this much of our side. I can move on to the student side. I'm going to be very, very quick because again, I know that I wasn't necessarily planned to be here. Y'all might not even be interested in this subject, but I can move on to that piece.
It's student hiring season, so it's
It
always
is
good.
student hiring season. Thank you, Christine. I don't see any questions in the chat either. Okay, let's see. I'm going to open this first. share where I'm at. Okay. All right. So this is going to be on our website soon. I can easily email this to you. This is going to give you all of the tips and tricks, some preliminary tips if you're ready to hire students, what you might need in advance, if you've got the vacant position in Workday, if you need a job description template, if you would like to prepare your student for what will they need once they're chosen to be hired and they need to fill out the I-9. This is also going to give you kind of a step-by-step. For student hiring, it's really broken up into two major segments. The first piece does go through career development. And after you've chosen your candidate, the next piece is, of course, the HR piece. So this 2-page info sheet is really going to give you a lot of good information. Something else that is on here that can be very, very helpful is we've got a link. Bethany Farrell took some time before she left for maternity leave to give some visual walkthrough. She actually made a YouTube channel where she's got everything explained, and you can actually watch her go through to post a job. If you want it to just be work study, if you would like to look at people that only hold this type of degree, there's a lot of different things that you can do in Handshake just at the very beginning of you posting the position that might be very helpful. Typo, just seeing it. We'll get that updated too. But I'm gonna go ahead and open this just so that you can get a look. So how to post a work study position, creating a brand new position from scratch, duplicating a job posting. This is really going to be extremely helpful. And it even hits on our brand new GA hiring pools. We have those out and available now. So again, I've got a few of these resources that can be very helpful to you. I also have how to fill out the pre-hire form, literally step by step, everything that you'll need, where you're going to be able to find this information. So again, I have a lot of information that can be helpful. I even have an example of what a work study permit is going to look like. A lot of times I will get a request to hire someone, and instead of a work study permit, I'll get like the work study permit request or, you know, a work study notification. So this is just really going to tell you what type of work study they've been awarded, because there are 2 different types of work study, what semester, the amount that they're awarded, and even what the payment account is. So what is that 11-digit cost center number to make sure that we are paying them out of the correct funds. So these are things that I've got, I can easily email to you, and I'm working on getting them all uploaded on our student employment site, just so that y'all can have easy access. The last thing that I want to share is I also have what does the step-by-step process look like if I am the student who has just been hired. What steps do I need to take? What should I be on the lookout for? Well, the first thing you're going to need to do is complete the pre-hire. Then we're going to start your background check. You need to monitor your email, and here's the I-9 information. So this 1-page sheet can be very handy to students once you've notified them that you've chosen them as a candidate, just to give them something to help them know what to watch for, can honestly save yourself some communication too. So these are all resources that I've got out there. And again, feel free to email me. I also have the general email address down here of hr.studenthiring@tamuc.edu. That is always for your quickest response. If I happen to be out that day, I will have people backing me up and monitoring this email address so that you can, again, just get as much help as quick as you can. That's really it in a really quick nutshell. I know there's a lot of information on here, but you'll be able to delve through that on your own. But are there any questions that I could answer right away on this?
This looks awesome.
Great, I'm glad. Let's see, let me make sure. I think it would have told me if I had chat. Oh, okay, good. So no questions through chat. So that's all I have, friends. And again, we do have some information from the compensation side that we have through email form. I think Amanda's going to go over it quickly with you, and we'll be able to forward that out as well. I'm going to stop sharing and give the roll back over to Amanda. Thank you, guys.
No, I'm gonna go real quick and have some of the links that Carmen sent. My favorite things is trying to figure out what order to do something. Okay, so I'm gonna share that first. There we go. All right, so these are the two resources. Let me move this out of the way. There. Okay, perfect. So for information, if you're looking for it on the website regarding compensation, all of the forms, anything you want to know is on that webpage, as well as information about different positions. Some of it's about employment forms and hiring resources, how-tos, and that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go through really quickly what Carmen wanted to share that she couldn't be here. So let's see. All right. She said we currently do not have on our site a link to pay grades and master title tables. I don't know, some of y'all might have been here a couple years ago when we went through as a system and completely redid everything and made it all consistent across the system. We do not currently have that on our website, but it is on the A&M System page. And all you have to do is look for TA and US pay scales and master titles and things like that, and it will bring you up to their page. She said HR has been working on getting our site updated, and they have requested that they put pay grades and basic title tables back on our website. But we're waiting for approval for that. System took theirs off for a time, and so A&M-Commerce is just waiting to see what we should do to be consistent with the system. Merit increases. Those are, I haven't been officially announced for this year, but they do usually happen around about once a year. They're decided at the department level. And if we have the budget, of course, and they're based off of annual performance reviews. So if you had a good review, you are eligible for a merit increase. Also, let's see, this is what you asked about earlier a little bit. She said per executive leadership, equity reviews must be requested by an employee's supervisor. So if you talk to your supervisor, the supervisor can request it. If an employee feels they're not being paid equitably or fairly, you should speak to your supervisor. The supervisor will contact HR, compensation specifically, and they will do a salary review and an equity review if warranted. And they're, again, on these web pages.
I was gonna say, I think that second link is where you can find a lot more information about that. I finally got my email to open, so I can finally see this email you're reading.
So,
And I was gonna say also, Amanda, the pay, we are, the Ethics and Compliance Office is responsible for the Pay and Equity Act. So if you actually feel you're being discriminated against and want to file a formal complaint based upon pay and equity, that's done through the Civil Rights Administration.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. So that's a good resource. I know in Workday there is, you can type up lots of things in those little searches, and you can see reports and things like that. You can find the pay scales. Let's say it says pay grade 6, and then it'll pull up. This is what the minimum pay, the maximum pay, and then it'll divide out the percentages. So there are those kind of resources available as well. That just requires a little bit more digging. Also, Carmen said, if you have any questions about any of this at all, that, were answered in this short email, that you could reach out to her directly or just generally to HR, and they'll be able to get you any information that you want to know. Also, quick plug for staff council resources. We do have a staff council scholarship. If you are deciding to go back to school or seek a certification of some kind that costs something, you can apply for a scholarship. I believe it's open right now for the fall, or no, it is already closed for fall. Sorry, it just closed for fall. And then we'll have one in the spring as well. Also, we do have an employee scholarship that is that goes through HR, and that information is on the website as well. You don't have to pay as much tuition. So, does anybody have any questions? Any of our folks that are here can answer at all about anything at all?
I just want to make a plug, since you made a plug about the scholarships. Also plug for, if anybody's interested in a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership, so broad management level, we offer that here at TMUC completely online. Normally, for regular students, it'd be $750 per term, but with the employee scholarship, it makes it $350, and there's 7-week terms, and you still get there's still financial aid eligible. So that's just information to pass along.
Just not federal. Title IV, financial aid is available for that.
No, federal financially covered too.
It's
So
just
Pell
like, it's
and
just like,
all of
yeah,
that.
it's like normal.
Okay.
And the reason why I say
Well,
that,
I'll say that because it didn't in the beginning.
No,
That's
it is now.
why- It's why the employee scholarship, but the employee scholarship program limits that amount, but you can also use the employee scholarship for it, not just the.
yeah, no, what I was saying, with the employee
Staff
scholarship,
council one.
it won't take it all the way down, since it only costs $750 to begin with, so it will take it down to $350. Which
Which
is,
is unlimited classes in 7
Yeah,
weeks.
I didn't wanna-
Get through it.
Yeah.
But the university employee one is 0, it's just basically an interest-free loan.
No,
They changed that, because when I used it,
don't
it
even get me
was
started.
it was one semester, you take one class per semester, you pass it with a C or better, and you don't end up paying for it.
No,
You can take 2.
you're gonna pay $350, $350 every 7-week term.
No, I'm talking about just a regular, it's
No.
like, for like, if I'm doing a regular semester, and I use that scholarship, it's basically an interest-free loan.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's changed.
Oh, well, then we need to update the procedure. Because I haven't done update to the procedure since it was that.
currently I'm using that as,
Oh,
Yeah.
check. Okay. Marcia said it makes it $450 per term, not $350. She's not April.
so scholarship is $350, so that the end price is $450, okay.
So, but that's, it's good to know. It's, I know a lot of staff members are taking advantage of that to get their bachelors to either, get, yes, the scholarship is $300, to kind of move up, move out, move somewhere else. So it's been, I've been a lot of folks that graduated from that program. Let's see, all right. So we have, just real quick, a couple of upcoming events for staff council. We're having our general staff meeting, which is on August 11th, and it's in the Nursing and Health Sciences Building, room 160. Very excited to have meetings in that building. So it's very exciting.
Thank you for teaching me the new acronym I needed to know for the building.
Yes, NHS, that's what it's going by. If you are interested in serving on any staff council committees, you are welcome to join. We have, we have events, so we have like this Leo series, professional development, all kinds of other things. So if you're interested in serving the staff community through staff council, please reach out to staff council at tmuc.edu. Also, we are having our August Leo events. Instead of doing an event like this, we are doing a kind of morale booster, get ready for fall kind of fun stuff. So on August 4th, we're gonna have a snow cone truck on campus, free snow cones for everybody. August 11th, we're gonna do free popcorn. August 18th, we're gonna have bubble blowing at the crossroads. And August 25th, we're gonna bring back the little itty bitty buttons for anybody wearing blue and gold. We're gonna go around campus and pass those out. So I'm really excited about all this fun stuff that we're doing to kind of finish off the fiscal/academic year. So thank you all so much for coming, and it's good seeing everybody in person. So have a beautiful day. Please don't forget to get a cup of coffee and get some.
Thank you.